What's interesting about the software is you can pick car, UTV, motorcycle, or marine. So it gives you all kinds of opportunities. So if I did motorcycle, for example, what will happen is that it starts off with the home page. Home page is master volume, selecting inputs. Are you doing 4-channel in, 2-channel in, Bluetooth, auxiliary? What are we doing? We have to remember when we're talking about digital signal processors, DSP, DSP is controlling everything in the digital domain. So now I can do EQ, I can do crossovers, I can do gain, I can do phase, I can do in and out of phase, like polarity. So if I want to make sure when I'm building a system that everything is okay, one of the very first things you want to do is check polarity. So what you do is go into gain phase, and in here, I can change total phase of any driver. I can mute any driver. So if I'm running a system, one of the things I may do is I want to hear just that front tweeter. I may want to look at that on my real-time analyzer, my RTA, to see what's going on. I may want to look at the other tweeter. I may want to look at the mid-range. I may want to look at both mid-ranges. So it gives you an opportunity to do all kinds of things. And I can do all of this on my phone without having to hook up cables. So in a motorcycle, it makes life so much easier to deal with. So if I go into EQ, I have EQ settings. Well, what's cool about the EQ is I can change frequency and I can change Q. Now people are going to go, what the hell is Q? Q is how wide or how narrow you're EQing. So sometimes people will say, well, I have a 31 band EQ. Like, do you know what that means? Most people have no clue what 31 bands is. Well, what it means is I have 31 equalization frequencies, because in audio, it's called third octave, okay? From very low to very high. Ours is 7 bands, but I can make it any frequency I want, and I can change the Q, meaning if I change Q, for example, hello, I can pick a frequency, and right now it's a Q of 5.8. That's a very arbitrary number, okay? But just for fun, let's go in and we're going to change Q to 1 and watch what happens to the curve. Oop. Hello. So notice how it went very wide. So now I'm affecting a lot of frequencies. That's good if I have my real-time analyzer looking at the system with pink noise. Now I can go to the offending frequency that has a peak, and I can fix it with 1 band of EQ without having to hook up, go in and do 10 bands of EQ. So it makes it really easy. I can do subsonic filters, I can do high pass, I can do low pass, I can do band pass, I can do all kinds of things. I can go in and change delay. Now on a motorcycle, the likelihood of us using delay is very low. We may use it on the rear channels, but we're not going to do a left-right delay. It's going to be just rear. But I'll use gain and phase, because this is overall gain when you're setting up levels. Gain and sensitivity are the same thing. So that just means depending on how many volts in is where I turn this up. So if I have a lot more signal coming in, I'll have the gain way down. If I have very low signal, I'll have the gain way up. So just remember that gain is not power, it's gain. So it makes life easy. You can get in here, you can save it, you can do front, you can do rear, you can do sub. So now I can EQ all of these things separately and then save it, and I can save it as Bob 1 or Larry 1, like my name, or anything I want it to save to, so that when I bring it back in, maybe I have one where it says, I want it really smooth for sound off, but I want it to be really bright and loud and bumpy on the bottom end when I'm driving. Because on a motorcycle, as soon as you move on asphalt, it gets very noisy at low frequency. You need to boost that. So you'll have a different setting just for that when you're moving. So there's a lot of things you can do with DSP that you can't do any other way. So play with DSP, you'll love it once you know how to use it.